We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
Bless you, Dave. Guys, welcome to another Wednesday. I guess we are 68 days away from Bears starting 1-0. Dave, how you feel about that?
I'm ready. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either, man. But let's stay in the here and now right now. You know, it's 106 degrees outside, boiling. And I got one question for you guys. Have your neighbors started shooting fireworks yet?
There have been people here that have.
Whoa, Dave. Whoa. Get the chamomile. That's right. Say again.
Might have not.
No, they've been doing it for weeks here.
Yeah, I bet. I remember back in, was it 2020 when no one had anything to do? It seemed like everyone had like an endless supply of fireworks, man. For me, it's been like fireworks ever since that first COVID strain dropped. I notice when there's no fireworks more than I notice fireworks being popped now. Have you all ever bought fireworks? I've never bought fireworks. So it is a shock to me finding out today at this age that I'm at now, 25 years old, that they give you half free when you go buy your sticks of dynamite. Like if you buy like $150 worth of dynamite or fireworks, they give you 150 free.
That tells you that they're still making profit. It's just what they're charging.
Yeah, blowing shit up is not expensive business, I guess, right? In any case, man, that it's going to be a loud weekend, and I'm trying to mentally get prepared for that. I just don't like all that stuff. I'm not a fireworks person. I like I guess the show of it is cool for every now and then, but when I'm at home and just hear random fireworks popping off at 10 o'clock in the middle of the street, get that out of my life. Get that out of here.
They're extremely dangerous, and every once in a while you'll see a notable person just. I think there was a news person that like lost a limb, or what was it? Jason Tuck lost his hand.
JPP.
Oh no, yeah, Juan whatever. What was his name?
John Pierre Paul. No, why did I say John Pierre Paul? I don't know. But he played for the Giants, right?
He played for the Giants. He was an edge rusher for the Giants. Yeah, and he lost it.
He blew off like 4 fingers, something like that.
No, I think it was just 2.
2, 4. Split the difference. Say 3. He lost 3.
But it's dangerous. I don't even know. I remember a time where they were illegal in Michigan and you had to go to Indiana, because I lived in West Michigan, so it was nothing to get to Indiana.
But are you guys excited for the holiday? In fact, better question. Do you like having a holiday on a Friday?
Yeah,
Heck yes.
Yeah, it extends depending on how your work week is set up. Whether or how many days off your job will give you. I mean, it extends your weekend without you having to take extra days off or whatever. So it works.
Yeah, I don't like the holidays on a Friday. I don't like it. Give me a good Thursday holiday so I can take the Friday, make it a 4-day situation. That's where I'm at. Friday, it's like I gotta do the whole week anyway. I gotta do the whole work week anyway. And then I get a 3-day weekend and they expect you back Monday. Fresh. I'm not fresh yet. I'm not ready. I need at least 4 days.
Never ready, but
only thing worse to me than a Friday holiday is a Sunday holiday. Get that all the way out of my life too. have no use for a holiday being on the weekend. Like, come on, you're not doing me any favors here. All right. But in any case, like I said, Dave, 68 days until
The Vikings defeat the Bears at Soldier Field.
I don't like the way that sounds. Shivers. But 68 days and 68 days regardless. 67 days if you're a Detroit Lions fan. Shout out to you guys, everybody watching. Um, I did want to start by talking about something that we've probably touched on a lot already this off season. Let's just call it the last remaining question for every NFC team as we head into the summer break. Uh, we're already in the summer break, but as we gotten there so far, right? Let's start with the Packers. Will Lucas Van Ness, their first round draft pick from 2023, will he ever live up to where he was drafted? Now, you guys that don't know, the Packers pass rush, it was a little inconsistent last year. I don't want to say they were bad. They was pretty mid. I think they finished about midway in sacks. They had 30. Yeah, they had 45 sacks last year. That's what 10th in the league. They had about 55 hurries, another 12th in the league. I think that's about that. 43 knockdowns. That's actually below average. That's about 18th in the league around that space. So Lucas Van Ness, like I said, they drafted him first round 2023. They didn't improve their pass rushing situation this offseason. They didn't make any acquisitions along in that space. So the question, I guess, for them, I know we're not fans of them, but we all would prefer that they go to hell or just lose all their games, whichever happens first. Do you all think that this is going to be a breakout season for them? Well, and for him in that space.
I think that the Lions have the best Iowa players, so whatever he does, it'll be lesser than what Jack Campbell and Sam Laporta produced.
Wow, those are offensive players. I can't even begin to compare.
Jack Campbell is not.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. Jack Campbell, he's middle linebacker, right? Well, inside linebacker. Um, if I'm to say this will be his third season. If I'm to say what I expect from a down lineman, a rusher, in their third season after being a first round draft pick, I'm expecting at least what 12 sacks. Is that too much to ask?
That's a damn good year.
Very good year. But if I drafted you first round, this is your third year. I'm expecting you to turn that corner, and put quarterbacks into the dirt.
Literally.
Over under 11 and a half sacks for Mr. Van Ness.
Under.
I like that. I like the under for that. Let's go around to Detroit. We ain't got much love for the Packers. No way. Foster, the Lions offensive line. Can they take a step? Could they possibly take a step back in 2025? As we talked about before, Frank Ragnow, he announced his retirement, 29 years old. Kevin Zeitler, he was a Pro Bowl player at guard last year, but he left in free agency. You got Taylor Decker and Graham Glasnow. They're both getting up there in age. Um, you just tell me, is it fair to expect them to take a step back for one?
If I'm viewing things from a objective point of view, it is definitely fair. I don't want to believe it as so, but yeah, I mean you can't depend on you can't depend on young guys and unproven players to just come in and set the world on fire out the gate. I think that they have two very viable anchors on both sides from the tackle position that can certainly be, can certainly help mentor and show them a way. I think that the addition of Tristan Colon, Cologne or Colon, I think that he's pretty important just because he's a veteran guy. He's played all over the interior, and him being able to early on file in somewhere and provide some stability is going to do wonders for the other guys that are trying to find their way. Mr. Tate Rutledge, Miles Frazier, um, the other guy that that's replacing Zeitler. Yeah,
Mahogany.
Mahogany. Yes, that's what it is. Yeah, I think that the future is bright as far as that's concerned, but it may be trying early on for us to just find our footing, work up a lather.
Shout out to my boys, Sports Life and Hip Hop. Dave, what you got?
Well, I was about to say it's going to take a while to build chemistry when you rearrange the offensive line, and we deal with the same thing in Minnesota, and so we'll pay in Chicago.
Yeah,
Correct.
no, you're absolutely correct there, Dave. I think for us at least, we got all vets though. We picked up vets, so I will hope that they're taking the leadership by the reins on that in that room, because the guys that are still that are let me not say leftovers, but are um bringing still coming on from last year to play with the Bears for a little while. Our two tackles, they're still young guys. They have a lot to learn. So bringing in guys like that the Bears brought in this offseason, guys that's done it, Pro Bowlers, guys that's won Super Bowls. They should be the ones that's leading the charge, and everyone should follow them. So I will hope that the ability for that room to jail is a lot quicker, just because that we all on this the leadership is very much understood when you walk in the door. Foster, we both play fantasy football. You a little worse than I, but still, the question remains when you said that when we talked about the offensive line, does this mean as we get into the draft season, noticing that the Detroit Lions offensive line is maybe not in flux. Maybe not say that word because it's. I don't think it's in flux. I think it's solidified, but it's young. It's got some proving points, right? As Dave pointed out.
It's got to build chemistry.
Yeah. And because you don't know what the chemistry is, should you start fading the Detroit Lions running back room in those fantasy drafts?
First of all, I want to let the record be known that in the league that he ran, I took home first place.
Second.
Was it second place? Okay, I made the championship. That's what it was. But as far as making that the offensive line be something that you factor into your draft, I think that the tricky part about the running back room is that whatever you're doing, you're splitting the production. I think that's more of a tricky part of drafting a Gibbs or a Montgomery. As far as offensive line, yeah, it could, but I think that if you have an opportunity to go and get a Jahmyr Gibbs early on, I think it's a safe selection regardless of the offensive line. They'll figure it out. There's a lot of weapons to go around, a lot for teams to contend between all the different weapons that Detroit has.
Yeah, I've been Jameer Gibbs. I've been hitting the Detroit Lions, pause, very hard the last couple of seasons in my drafts. Gibbs, um, my my boy, not so
Brown.
much golf, but yeah, Amara St. Brown. Each of the last 3 years,
Mm,
golden. I do not, because the way I see it is, you want when you're drafting first round players, you want high floors. You don't care about the how high the ceiling are. You
right.
don't care about the ceiling. It's the floor. Because if you draft a bust in the first round, I want to know how bad that bust is going to be. So Amase Brown, to me, highest floor you can ever have for a first round player. Jameer Gibbs has a high ceiling, but I don't know. You telling me that
It's the
that
split. I think that you're gonna have games where Montgomery's where they're just like, all right, well, goal line, all right, we'll get him a couple touchdowns, and then you may miss, you may get a whole bunch of yards and no touchdowns. It just kind of depends on who's who's rolling. But I do agree with Brown. You may not have a ton 200-yard games, but he's gonna have his 8 to 10 catches. Even if, he's gonna have, and he's gonna find pay dirt quite a bit too. So um, you
No, the
look at
whole idea from somebody who played for decades before finally giving it up is you want to find the guys that score a lot per your point system, whatever that is. Yards obviously count. So if you got a big yard rusher who's going to run for 200 yards, it's a good weekend. But you also want touchdowns. And that's why somebody that's even a fullback type can come off the bench and score 6 touchdowns in a season and only have 450 yards. But the touchdowns, if you had them as your third back or whatever, they ring up and they help you win. But you got to go. Now, I think Detroit backs are a solid choice for any fantasy league.
they're also a good choice because they catch out in the backfield, so it definitely opens up more opportunities for you to clock some extra yards.
Did you say fullback, Dave? Did you stop playing fantasy football
During clown saucers.
Yes, during back when we had fullbacks. Yes.
Mike
the Mike?
Allstott.
Yeah, you
Yes.
drafted Mike Allstott.
Yes.
Corey Schlesinger.
Yes.
All of that.
That was before PPR.
But it's you're looking for that edge.
Yeah, yes, you are. You got to do your homework.
Mm-hmm. Take a look at Aaron Jones this season. He should be around 1,000 yards rushing or better, and he catches 50 catches easy and scores there as well. But we'll see.
All right. So we talked about floors, Dave. Let's come on over to the Minnesota Vikings. JJ McCarthy's floor. Is it high enough for a team as loaded as the Vikings are and with the aspirations that the Vikings have? Do you think that a guy who is ostensibly a rookie can lead this team to where they need to be?
I do personally, yes. But I watch every single move that's published out there that he makes. The rest of the nation doesn't think so. They're seeing somebody that's unknown, and it's affecting how they view the Vikings. The biggest unknown is J.J. McCarthy. If he plays adequate football, we've got a really, really good football team that should make the playoffs. I think he's going to be better than adequate. I think he's going to be very good, but it's all up to how he plays. We've got KOC who's going to guide him, and he has the talent. I've seen it. The dude can hum a football, can throw deep. He's great over the middle in that intermediate range. That was proven out even in college for him. And that's where KOC loves to go. And that was not Sam Darnold's case last year. He was good at the deep ball. So I think he can be, but the league and the nation as a whole and fans from other teams, he's an unknown. Even to some of the Vikings fans, he's an unknown. And so those that are betting on him need to be confident that he is what I say he is, or what other, local beat writers that have seen him in practice every day say he is, versus what you're seeing on the national press, on the league press. Could he be, if you want to talk fantasy football, is he going to be a top quarterback? I doubt it. But would he be a good backup for you on a weekend? Oh, heck yes, I do believe so. Depending on who we're playing and when. Because Kevin O'Connell's a throw-first coach. Yes, we want to run the football more. But I still believe we want to run the football more efficiently rather than more, and we're probably going to throw 60% of the time. Can J.J. McCarthy handle that? I believe so, 100%. Plus, we improved the offensive line, at least on paper. But then again, we got that chemistry thing. So, if they keep him upright, I think he's going to be golden. Better than Sam Darnold had last year, where the interior just collapsed on him.
You did say right, KOC Kevin O'Connell. He produced 4,000-yard passers with all of 3 4,000-yard seasons, all with different quarterbacks. And they say that your boy Darnold, who's now in Seattle,
yep,
his contract puts him up. It's more of a year-to-year type situation that he signed up there in Seattle.
But 3 years, $100 million. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they have outs. That's a fine. They have outs after each year. So that's given a lot of talk. I've been listening to some other shows. They're talking about he's kind of on a hot seat. He has to perform. And it's crazy. After what? He was what was it, 4,000? How many touchdowns?
He was like 4,700 some odd yards, and he had, what was it, 29 touchdowns or something like that. Wow. I'd have to look it up real quick. But
from those numbers and a 13-win season to
14
win season to hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin O'Connell, wizard.
That's Kevin O'Connell. Yeah.
All right. So let's go to the Bears. Last team before we take a break real fast. The Bears, their last they're the most looming question they have as we go into training camp. Who's going to start at left tackle? As we've talked a few times before, there's been a three-way I guess competition now that the Bears find themselves in with Ozzie Trapillo and Kamen Amagaji and Braxton Jones. Braxton Jones, he's hurt. He should be ready for early part of camp. He is the incumbent left tackle for the Bears. The other two guys were drafted fairly early, the last two drafts. Kyron Amagaji, he had his one and done against the Vikings last year, gave up 75 sacks, I believe, in that one game. And Ozzie,
I wish it was that much, but yeah, it seemed like it.
It felt that way. It felt that it felt like those guys in purple were molesting my quarterback all day. Speaking of that,
and he enjoyed it, from what I hear.
Oh well, I mean, speaking of consenting, Diddy's off. Diddy got off. How about that? From what I heard, guilty on 2 counts, but he's going to win the appeal. Yeah, guilty on 2 counts, but they ain't get him on RICO. But anyway, yeah, I want to press RICO charges on the Vikings for what they did to my quarterback in that particular game where Kyron Amagaji played. So what do I think about that situation? Well, you know this old saying, Dave, can't make the club while you're in the tub, right?
Yep.
They say you're not supposed to lose your job to injury, but we've seen plenty of
Oh.
times that happens. It's not a true statement. So Braxton, I don't think Braxton's done enough in his professional career to get that kind of leeway. If a young player, young cheaper player is outperforming you and is healthy, they're gonna get the crack. You gotta fight for your job, man. So I'm hopefully that we can have a very healthy and spirited competition and may the best man win. Bear down.
Yeah, no, you want competition, and I agree with you. There's no guarantee just because you were the starter that you keep that job. Because whoever comes in and replaces you, if they play better than you are, sorry. There's no motivation for a coach to put back, well, you were the starter, I'm going to put you back in. No. The coach is, I want to win. This guy's playing better. Sorry, you're still hurt for another week. But I look forward to your offensive line battles of the preseason. I want to see how it goes.
Only one. It might be the most important position on the line, but I'm glad to say it's only one. Foster, you got anything for the Vikings or Bears looming questions?
Heck, I'm curious about Foster's offensive line with the brain drain of all the coaches gone, and now with the retired players on the Detroit Lions offensive line, or the ones that moved on, Ragnow retired, and then the shuffling there. It's going to be interesting to see how that line works out.
It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Heck, we could even throw in the Green Bay Packers, because what did they do? They went out and overpaid a lineman in free agency. So let's see how they do as well. Hopefully miserably, but we'll see.
They're a miserable bunch, so we can all just assume that's going to happen. Let's go ahead and take our first break. On the way back, we're going to talk about the best part of off season for a content creator: lists. You're watching live. Stay where you're at. You're listening on audio, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Check out our advertising partners, and we'll be right back on the other side of that break. Don't go anywhere.
Need a Garrett's popcorn break.
So, fellas, like I said, it is list season. What is list season? All content creators know. It is what you do to get through the
dead times.
The dead times, right? So we just start putting together lists like, who do you think the top 30 centers are in the last 30 years? Something crazy like that. People like lists though, Dave. People love lists. So I got one list for you guys. I was looking at Bleacher Report last week, and they had the top. They had all the defenses ranked as they're heading into the season, and I'm gonna read off the top 5 just for you guys. And I want to know if you all agree with that top 5, or do you think there should be an NFC? There should be some switching up for the NFC North to get into that, maybe shuffle in or possibly even be in that top 5. Number 5, Baltimore Ravens. I'm gonna stop right there. Do you all agree the Baltimore Ravens are the number 5 defense heading into the season?
Well, they got a heck of a defensive backfield, and they just added to it with Jair Alexander.
Yeah, they did. They added Jair Alexander. They drafted the number one safety in the coming out of college. So, in my opinion, the way they ended the season with, am I arguably the best safety in the league already, Kyle Hamilton, one of the best rush down linemen in the league with Matabuke, and the best interior linebacker in the league, Roquan Smith. There's no way you can make an argument to me that they're not the number one squad. I full stop as far as defenses are concerned. First of all, so how does that number sit with you?
Yeah, I think there's a strong influence due to the Jair Alexander acquisition. I think their secondary did have a major hole on the opposite side of the young corner Nate Wiggins. But yeah, I think they cleared up any questions that they might have had by going out and getting him. So I feel like the Ravens defense is never bad. Like they don't really have down years as far as that side of the ball is concerned. So so glad we get to see him this year.
Ooh, I'm glad you get to see him too, Foster. Number 4.
Oh, wait. Now, Bleacher Report had him 5th, from what I gathered.
Yeah, 5th.
Yeah. 4th on Sportsnot and 5th on Pro Football Network. And the reasoning is the Ravens have top 2 secondary with cornerbacks Humphrey, Alexander, and Hamilton, as we discussed. But that they were also had 54 sacks last year, and you want to get over 50. That's the goal. And they were 9th in scoring defense, and their run defense held every team on average under 100 yards to 80.1 yards. That's hitting benchmarks. You want, the 50-plus sacks. You want to hold teams to under 100 yards rushing. You want to, be at least top 10 in scoring. So,
true.
I can see them 5th.
But yeah, like Tim said, their secondary definitely wasn't. The secondary did get exposed last year.
Well, that was the first half of the season. After when they made some adjustments, they had the unfortunate part of the schedule. They played the Bengals twice early before they started making some adjustments to their back end of their defense. The last 7 weeks, their secondary was the best in the league. So let's Dave, you said you could see them 5th. I don't know, man. I think for a strong defense already, they got better this offseason. So, but we'll see as we reveal the rest of the list.
That's a projection.
Right. No.
It's possibly 5th.
As of right now, they're saying going into the season, top 5 defenses.
Yeah.
Number 4, they have the Houston Texans.
And I disagree with this one.
Exactly, Dave. Exactly. They say the Houston Texans may have had the best defense in the league last year. I don't think so. They were ranked top 11 in total defense, pass defense, and run defense. They were 5th in takeaways and 4th in the NFL with 49 sacks. Okay, great. And they played the NFC North, and I don't know the other division they played, but in any case, I watched enough of Houston Texans last year. I didn't think that their offense definitely wasn't all that, especially C.J. Stroud. He came back to earth. Defense kept them up. But
they play in the AFC South, for Pete's sake.
Right. Yeah, they got bye weeks every other week, Dave.
I know. Now, they did have the highest pass rush win rate of 49%. But part of that is, 1, they have Danielle Hunter. 2, they play in the AFC South.
Mm-hmm.
And the AFC South was a cupcake tour for us last year.
Right.
And we lost.
I don't think I'm not agreeing with that part right there. I already told you number 5, Baltimore. It's got to be a good list for you to have me seeing that Baltimore is number 5. Number 3, Dave. Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
They surprised me last year on defense, to be honest with you. I thought there was going to be a regression year for them. And if you
But
recall,
that's only Bleacher Report that has them.
yeah.
Sportsnet or Football Network do not have them top 5.
But then here you go with this. They did add Joey Bosa.
Yeah. That helps.
Yeah, it helped. Yeah, it would help for the handful of games he's actually going to play.
Yeah. Now they've got, a cornerback, Teron Johnson and Maxwell Hairston. They're solid.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if they do it. I suspect the Bills and the Ravens are going to be fun to watch in the AFC.
Yeah.
When it comes down to January.
They I think their draft was mostly defense too. So I'm assuming that's where this grade is coming from. They improved. They had a really good season last year, but they made some additions to improve that. Now, for one thing, Dave, defense is not static, especially if your defense is if your defense hangs its hats on like takeaways. Those things regress all the time, especially year over year. So we'll have to see if they can hold up again. Now, this one, number 2, no arguments. It's the defending Super.
I agree. Philadelphia is well worth the number 2 slot. They are a volatile defense.
Philly Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I do think I think number 2, top 2 for the Philadelphia Eagles is a fair, really fair grade for them. They lost a bunch of names, like I said, Hargrave and Sweat, Milton Williams, but they already had their replacements on the roster already. As you saw, if you only just watched them in the Super Bowl, they were rotating guys in to just beat up on Pat Mahomes. It doesn't matter. Whoever they put out there, it was a dog.
Yep. Wow, I agree. They're going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we'll see how tough they are against the young upstart that nobody knows about named J.J. McCarthy, but we'll find out.
And number 1, we got the Denver Broncos. Don't like it, Dave?
No. Now, they got great players. Patrick Surtain kind of taking a heartbeat. Drake Greenlaw, Talona Hufanga. Oh, shit. Yes. Jahdae Brown. Yes. They have the talent. Number 1, that I'm a little bit surprised with, but we'll find out.
Let's see. So
they're going to be top 10 no matter what.
The argument for Denver, they were 7th in total defense last year, 3rd in scoring defense. They already had great players. They added a bunch of players. They added Greenlaw from the 49ers. We'll see if he's healthy. They also signed his teammate, Taloa Hufanga. His name always messes me up. Hufanga, yeah. To go with Zach Allen, Alex Singleton, a bunch of studs on that team. But are those studs better than what the Ravens got? I don't believe it.
It's going to be interesting. But Bleacher, when I did my research, Bleacher Report, Sportsnet, and Pro Football Network is what I used. All 3 of them have them as the number 1 defense.
The Denver Broncos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
now we're going to find out. What do you want a defense to do? What stat is the most important stat for a defense?
The amount of times the opponent has to go change their pants because they shit themselves. That is the stat.
I agree
that's the stat I want to see. I want to see my team lead the league in that. Shitty pants.
But in reality, it's points against. Mm-hmm. If you keep your opposition under 10 points every game of the season, you've won a lot of games. because your offense should score more points than 10. Even we've always called it back in my day on when I was doing Good Morning Gallahorn, we called it the Mendoza line. And that number was keep the opponent under 17 points.
Mm-hmm.
You keep them under 17, you're going to win 2/3 of your games.
Agreed.
If you have a halfway competent offense. And if you can keep them under 10 points, you're the number one team in the league.
I see that too. 10 points is, especially in this era where everyone's trying to score, where you just roll out of bed and get 14 points, 13 points at least. So yeah, if you can hold your team to 10, Dave, you like I said again, you're doing
Your defense is good.
Yeah, very good.
You can let the offense roll up and down the field, no problem. And as long as they're not getting points, all that yardage means nothing unless you're a fantasy football player.
Yeah, which I am. So coming back to the division, Dave, is there any team in our division that you're like you're reading those 5 teams, you're like, wait a second, fill in the blank defense is just as good as that team?
Yeah, there's 2 of them. Detroit Lions had a huge run defense last year.
Yeah, they did.
And according to Bleacher Report, they're ranked 6th, Sports Not 6th, and then Pro Football Network has them at 5th.
Mm-hmm.
They're good. Now, what I worry about Detroit is the brain drain. How they're going to make the transition with all the new coaches and such this year. But they're going to have Aiden Hutchinson back. Marcus Davenport, can he be hurt for 5 consecutive seasons or 6? You know, he's a great player. He's a very good player at edge when he's healthy, but it's like he's been hurt every season. That's a good question. And then the next one is my team, the Minnesota Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Bleacher Report has them at 7th, 4th, or Sports Not had them at 5th, and Pro Football Network has them at 3rd. We've got Brian Flores, obviously, as our defensive coordinator. We've beefed up the defensive line to get more pass rush up the middle from it, along with our normal rotation. We're going to have guys step up and improve in their further years, whether it be Dallas Turner or some of our interior guys. The only real question mark we have is, how will our corner room turn out to be? We have players. Some of them are young. Are they going to step up and play?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about the safeties. I think Theo Jackson's going to step right in and be perfectly fine as a starter with next to Harrison Smith. Is Harrison Smith finally going to start showing his age? But I think with the combination of Flores and the personnel we have, we could easily and should be top 5. We were top 5 most of last year until we got to those last couple of games.
That's a list I want to do, Dave. Ranking the safeties of the NFC North. I want to do that list.
Yeah, we've got some good ones.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Oh, you know what? The Bears don't have any. I don't want to do that list anymore. I don't want to do that list anymore. I want to rank cornerbacks instead. Let's rank cornerbacks.
Now, the other team that's possible top 10 is Green Bay.
Oh yeah.
You're going to be middle of the road.
As according to Bleacher Report, the Bears are middle of the road. 16th. Yeah.
They're 20th on Sports Not and 13th on Pro Football Network.
And you know what, Dave? I'm not even pissed off about it. I'm pissed off about that they didn't play well enough last year to strangle respect out of people. You know, the last 2 seasons, the Bears won a lot of games just off the back of their defense. But last year, they also blew a lot of games because of the defense. Well, it's a lot of reasons. It was layered reasons why the Bears lost a lot of games last year.
But you've
But
got a new DC this year.
a new DC. I've got full. In fact, Dave, the coach for the Bears that I have the most confidence in is Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
I know that the Bears defense is going to get their shit together and be the unit that they have the talent to be this year. It's going to be a return to form. The Bears were just terrible against the run last year, and that was from day one. Before the wheels fell off the track, terrible against the run. It was giving up a big chunk a big chunk run every game. When I say chunk, I mean about 20, 25 yards every game. We lost to the horrible Colts on a chunk run. That was the game-winning play right there. Like, and then as the losses start piling up, the defense just said, we're going to Cancun early. So 16th, I'm not mad about it.
I think you guys can be better. All four of the teams could be in our division top 10 defenses. That's how tough our division is.
I expected, Dave. I expect Bears, Vikings, Lions to be top 8, and rounding out the 10, it'll be the Packers. Because as we've said before, they're the bottom B in this division.
Mm-hmm.
Power bottoms. Shout out to Diddy.
I got a question. Are you seeing comments from YouTube?
I am.
You are?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So we are still waiting on Foster. I don't know what kind of connection issues he's having, but because I definitely wanted his opinion on that. But Dave, we got a few minutes left in our show. I did want to get your opinion on one other thing, as it relates to the off season. We've got the best remaining free agents out there. So it's only so many free agent acquisitions that can be made at this point of the season. As of right now, you're probably going to mostly get guys that are recently cut. But with the guys that's still out there, Dave, is there anybody that you are still have your eyes on, or was more so paying attention? Do you think there's a guy out there that can improve your team?
No.
Cut and dry. Is there a guy
not for free agents? Not there sitting out there.
Oh yeah, easily. But do you think there's any guys out there that could still make an impact? Let's say maybe not for your team, but another team in the division.
Possibly. Green Bay. I mean, could they use another wide receiver? Yeah. Keenan Allen.
Yeah, Keenan Allen is still out there. I think that's probably the biggest name that's still available, Dave. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know Keenan Allen, he's 33 now, so
he's got to be up there.
Yeah.
Let's see, where is he? He's 33.
Yeah. 33, dropped about 33 touchdown passes last year, so let me not get too down on him. I mean, he had some good games. But he did drop some passes that made me mad.
Oh, they could go 2 years younger with Amari Cooper.
Yeah, he's still available as well. So
31.
So the Packers can use some more wide receivers, especially a vet wide receiver.
Uh-huh. Especially wide receivers that can stay healthy.
Yeah, well, I mean, Keenan Allen, yeah.
Well, yeah. But they go through so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. That's it for that's who else did I see out there? Zadarius Smith's out there as an edge. I would want him more as a mentor if I brought him on. The Vikings don't need him, but I could see you guys possibly let him do the hat trick. All four teams in the division.
This is the guy that I'm still shocked that he doesn't have a team. Asante Samuel Jr.
Uh-huh. This is where I want to know the story. Mm-hmm. Why is he still available?
That's a great question because he is a dog. I think he's better than his dad ever was.
Hey, he's 26 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's over the hill like everybody else we're talking about.
Right. Right. I would have to think that maybe the injury is he's healing slow or something like that. Maybe.
Well, he had the shoulder injury in
Yeah.
24.
I don't know.
He's best in zone. He's not a man guy.
Not a man guy, and the Bears are gonna play. It's gonna be a man team this year. So, darn it. I could have put him back to safety. Nah, he's too young for that.
Now he might go to Detroit. Might like him.
That was exactly what I'm about to go with that because Detroit. You put him on Detroit. I punch air like, damn it, they did it again, Dave. They did it again. After 50 years of being the little brother, they done found the steroids. Now they too tough.
Now, and of course,
good look.
We've talked about the Packers now lacking a defensive backfield, and we like to keep it that way. So
I like to have the Packers not having anything. So Darius Smith, he's still out there as well. As you know, he played with the Lions last year. Clowney's been bouncing around the league the last few years, but everywhere he goes, he wrecks shop. Judon is one of my, I don't want to say one of my favorite players, but in my opinion, I think 3 years ago, he was putting up defensive player of the year. He was having defensive player of the year type season before, I think it was Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett snatched it. I think that was the year. But all right, Dave.
What would you think of Brandon Scherf?
I don't know. For my team?
Yeah.
No.
As a backup guard.
Oh, yeah. We know what? For
a mentor to help bring that chemistry together.
I mean, you can never have too much. You can never have too much depth on the offensive line. And I can tell you, of the last 2 years of watching offensive linemen fall and be gone for weeks on end, you can never have never have enough versatility, never have enough depth. So if we got space for any other guys to sign in Chicago, I would prefer it to be somebody fat and can protect the franchise. One last player. I'm gonna try to see if I can convince you to take him. What about Kaiser White, Dave? Inside linebacker, off ball linebacker. He might look good in purple.
Purple. Who knows? We've got enough players. The question is, do we need? Because we're only probably keeping 4 inside linebackers. Got to remember, we play the 3-4, so we only have need for, at any one time, maximum 2 inside linebackers on the field at any one time. So, I don't know.
You did say Harrison Smith is getting up there in age. At some point, he's going to play his age. What about Marcus Williams? He's 28.
Which is still in the prime.
Younger than one of the safeties for the Bears, I tell you that. I don't know why the Bears didn't look at him. I don't know. They did enough this offseason. Let me not start griping. But yeah, Marcus Williams played with the Ravens last year, so you know he's got the coaching. He understands good, tough-nosed defense. Especially what you will see in Minnesota this season. Dave, where can everybody hear about the Vikings and their tough-nosed defense this season?
They can find us at Vikings First and Skol on YouTube. Over on your podcast aggregator, no matter which one it is, we're on all of them. You can find our writings over at Fans First Sports Network, our partners in all of this. And also over on, we got a Vikings First and Skol Facebook page for all the old fuddy-duddies that are still hanging around and using that. And you can find us there on X as myself, Luft_Krieger, or at Vikings First Skol you'll find us there. And we're always available to talk and chat. The purple and gold.
You can find Foster and June at the Bleachers and Speakers channel, where they've got everything Detroit sports related. They have a multiple podcast, post-game podcast covering Detroit Pistons. They have Corner to Copa covering the Detroit Tigers and their march to the AL playoffs, winning that terrible division once again. And everything they do surrounding the Lions as we get ramped up and get closer to the Detroit Lions season starting in 67 days, Dave. Also, you know what else you can find at Bleach Speakers? This show next week. And I promise you, if it doesn't happen, blame me. I promise you, Foster will have his laptop charged up and ready to produce a quality show next week. If he doesn't, you can blame me. Dave, what do you guys say on the up there in Minnesota?
We always say, Skull Vikings!
Excellent. See you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say three things: bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.